Combat in gacha games is very important on how it feels to the player and how smooth it is and just the mechanics of the combat in itself. So today's video for Arknights Endfield, I'm going to be showing you guys things that have to do with combat and how combat initially works for you guys to have a better idea of Arknights Endfield system. Now things are subject to change, right? It's the beta, so things could change, but I doubt they will change that much. So I'll be going over the listing here so you guys get an understanding of certain interactions that you can do within Arknights Endfield combat. Okay, so first things first, we have essentially the parry system of the game, but it has nothing to do with auto attacks. It's simply using a skill command in order to parry the enemy. After that, it will then cause an interruption effect and then dealing amounts of stagger damage. The stagger meter is this bar up here. It's basically a stun meter that you want to fill the gauge all the way up. So I'm gonna go to the enemy right here. Essentially, you're going to see a red dot, and then you're just going to press the skill effect. So that's essentially the parry mechanic of Arknights Endfield. So in Arknights Endfield, there are different statuses that you can do to the enemy physically, such as knockback or lifting an enemy up into the air. With Administrator's skill making them vulnerable, if you use it again, it will then cause the enemy to be knocked back. So we're going to use our skill one time, right? Use another one to apply knockback. So now for the next physical status is going to be lift. So essentially just like the knockback, what you're going to be doing is applying vulnerable. If the enemy is vulnerable, then you can lift the enemy into the air. This means that you can run teams like Shin and Administrator together, since they both apply vulnerable and both are able to apply physical statuses to the enemy. So do one, we apply vulnerable, use it again, lift it up into the air. So I wanted to show you guys something else if it does apply if you use two different skills. So let's say I use MC and then I also use the lifted. Yes, it does work like that. You don't have to apply vulnerable from the same character in order to apply the physical status. Another physical status we have is the enemy being knocked down. As you guys can see from the video memo here, the enemy literally gets knocked to the ground and has to get back up. So very similar to getting knocked back, well, you can also be knocked down. So for those that love elemental statuses or reactions in their gacha game, Arknights Endfield does have that. So we're going to be using this attack 2 times to cause a electric burst. So 1 stack, then we have a second stack that causes electric burst. Essentially, that's also called the Arts Burst. Okay, so now we are getting into elemental reactions. So in order for us to get the combustion off, we have to inflict heat with another element as well. So as you guys can see, Perlica is going to be using her electric status first. Then we apply heat that causes combustion. That will give damage to the enemy over time. So apply 1. And apply 2 for combust. Now we have Solidify, and again, it's pretty much the bread and butter in order for you to apply these statuses. You're going to apply 1 status and then apply the initial effect that you want to cause. So if you want combustion, use a character that applies heat. If you want, say, freezing the enemy, use a character that applies cryo afterwards. Now, on top of being able to have a status, or such as freeze, you are then able to use physical damage to break the freeze, causing shatter. So when we apply electrification onto the enemy, they're going to take arts damage more overall for the duration. Last but not least, we're going to be talking about art reaction corrode. So how this works is like every other, right? We apply one element, then we apply a nature infliction that does cause target defense to decrease over time. Now Gilberta that applies nature infliction is free for the closed beta test, but if she is free on launch, this is pretty strong. So at the end of the video here, I decided to actually put the operator class roles here. You guys can pause it, take a look, but this is essentially telling you how the class role works and what you're going to be looking for when developing team comps. Okay, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching today's video on the combat for Arknights Endfield. Hopefully they do make some changes to the combat, just more regarding on the movement and essentially how it feels, but I feel like everyone, due to the movements and such, weren't able to really give it a chance to really understand if there was anything else going on for the game. But now you do, and who knows how much more they're going to put in the game in the future. So leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't yet. You guys can also join the Discord, link in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.